And we are live.
We
Episode
are
127.
127. Okay. I wonder if that's anything. I'm sure there's something special about that number. I just happen to like it.
Okay.
So welcome to Suzilla. We are Suzie and Matt here at Wenatchee Insurance, Suzie Health Solutions. You name it, with insurance, we got it.
Yes.
Well, that's not entirely true, but we're working on it.
We're going to one day at a time, and today we're going to talk about bonus desperation.
Bonus desperation?
It's a lifestyle.
Okay.
Well, if you think about the last, there was a big lottery ticket that was sold in Washington State down in Yakima.
And I thought it was Auburn.
You're right, it was Auburn.
Yeah, for like $247 million.
Yeah, it was some ridiculous
amount. It's a big one.
Yeah. If you notice, Susie and I, we really don't play the lottery.
Well, how would they notice? They don't.
Yeah.
We don't ever talk about it, but no, we don't play the lottery. Once in a very, very blue moon. Weirdly enough, I will watch people do scratchers on TikTok.
Yeah.
But that's about as far as I go.
Yeah, because it's very enticing to jump into that bonus desperation of, will they win? Will they win? Will they win? There's something cathartic about it.
Yeah, and if it's somebody else's money, it's easier for me.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that about you.
Well, I mean, because it's that dopamine hit when you win on a lottery ticket, I suspect.
Random positive reinforcement.
Again, dopamine hits. Actually, random positive reinforcement is what you get when you've got people going, "Oh, I like your post on your social media too." When you think about it,
yeah, and you can also very quickly enter into abusive relationships.
Oh my gosh, it's no kidding. And I know that I have got in my family history, there's in different spots and different addiction issues. Mm-hmm. So I've always been really, really careful with myself because I know that. Okay, I have walked into casinos, knowing full well that if I have my debit card, I'm going to drain my bank account, so I don't take it with me. I know myself well enough to know that I don't dare let myself go crazy gambling because I will get sucked into it.
Okay, yeah, I've had rather positive experiences gambling.
I know you have, and I've had positive experiences too. I've won gambling, but I also know that I could, if I started to lose, I might not stop trying to get it back.
Well, that's because you're getting into the desperation.
Exactly, which is what we're talking about.
Yeah, but I'm seeing it more and more with bonuses,
like corporate bonuses.
Because bonuses are very popular in the sales field, which we happen to be in.
Yeah.
And you can start to see I could see, because we really treat bonuses here kind of haphazardly.
Yeah.
If we get them, great. If not, we don't worry about them. Yeah. We don't track them.
No.
It's one of those.
And we don't chase them.
No, and that's that part of that desperation.
Yeah.
Is chasing that bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had clients come to us from other companies, and I know what their product mix is. Mm-hmm. Because it's no real great secret if you pay attention to what someone's product mix is.
Yeah.
For insurance, and they don't quote somebody.
They choose to not quote a specific product.
Yeah, they throw down a quote, and it's just like, yeah, because if we're running the same product mix, it's like, okay, they can't do face to face. Maybe it's because they are going with a one that gets them a bonus. They have to have a quota.
Yeah, maybe there's a quota. Maybe there's a bonus. Maybe there's a better commission.
Yeah,
yeah,
and that's one of those things that we've done from day one. Is like, it doesn't matter if we get a commission or not.
Yep, that actually set us up to succeed for our clients in a lot of ways. The fact that that's less of the financial is less of a focus. Our focus was always find the customer the policy that suits them best, and the money will follow.
Yeah.
versus I'm in this to make money and I'm going to finding the proper policies kind of secondary to finding money for my nest.
Yeah, and there's a couple different angles on that. You got the general fiduciary responsibility, which is, as an advisor, you find the policy best suited for the client.
Exactly. And that's a moral thing.
And that's a moral thing, and what we try to do our best to adhere to. The other is just basic good customer service. I mean, if Henry Ford, I believe it was, said that if you take care of serving your clients, the rest will fall into place.
Maybe I don't remember who said that, but it could have been Ford.
Yeah, it was Ford.
He said all kinds of things.
Yeah,
it was probably
good,
not
some bad.
It was probably not Yogi Berra. I can guarantee that.
Miracle on 34th Street is another one where they walked in on the Santa Claus and he recommended Gimbals across the street.
Yeah, because they had the toy at a better price.
Yeah, and that was serving the client, and you get these ridiculous responses by serving the client. But the big thing about the whole bonus thing that I see people chasing it, that with that crazy wild eye of the tiger, is they lose sight of the client, which is the most important thing.
Yeah. That's absolutely true. And when you lose sight of the client, you lose that personal connection, and you've got less of a relationship built. And when you don't have a relationship built, it's easier for your client to just jump away onto somebody else for a better price. You're not building the relationship to not only close the current sale, but to build future sales. When you're chasing the bonus, you're not normally thinking long term.
Yeah, it's short term. It's that sales cycle is not, I'm going to have a client for 50 years.
Yeah, and I think you run into that in car sales frequently, because I remember, you hear the stories from way back in the day. The guy who would always go back to the same sales agent every 3 years, buy a new car, and that just doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Part of it's the sales techniques, part of it's the product. There's a bunch of different moving parts to that. But it's true with, but a lot of what that was about was building the relationship with the client.
Yeah, it was taking consistent steps to have that in your life. And that's one of the big things about, if you want to lead away from that bonus desperation, it's consistently making tiny little steps in the direction you want to go.
Now, what do you do if you're working for somebody that wants you, that pushes you to chase that bonus? How do you balance that push from your boss and what is the right move, which is serving the customer and working in a more long-term situation? How do you reconcile those?
Well, it's the tiny little steps to get out of that situation.
Okay, so it's a matter of getting out of the situation.
Yeah, it's because what you're doing is you've got someone that's really fostering that toxic relationship of, here, have this fix, and we expect you to do this on a regular basis. They're a pusher, and they're working on getting you to be a junkie.
Oh, here's your taste here, and you keep this up, and we'll get you some more.
Yeah,
and it's amazing how money is addictive in that regard, because it's not just money, but it's you did good. Here's your prize.
Well, I worked in manufacturing for a few years. And one of the big things in there was we had production level bonuses.
Right. Meet your production levels, you get a bonus.
And they kept edging up every year.
Because they're trying to increase their production levels.
Yes. And the problem with that is there reaches a point where you overrun machinery. You overrun safe practices. And that's with that whole, we got to get this bonus.
Yeah.
There were nights on that line where I was running, 110, 115, 120% of max capacity.
And that's beyond safe.
And well, the big thing was I could play with it because I understood the line and I understand the mechanics behind it and get a feel for it. The next guy would come in and he'd crash on him.
Because he didn't have the skills to finesse it like you did.
Yeah.
And you weren't given the opportunity to train them.
Well, no, because he'd been doing that job for 20, 30 years.
He wasn't going to change his ways.
He wasn't going to change his ways, and despite the machinery changing all along the way. Yeah. And that's that important. It's like, I chased the heck out of bonuses. Even when they were unattainable.
And unattainable bonuses have become a thing. I saw this working retail. Yeah. And usually what was happening was the bonuses were not normally for the people on the floor or even, some of the assistant management, but the store manager. Yeah. Always had, and sometimes like the department managers had these little bonus carrots dangled in front of them. But they were never, ever able to achieve. Well, early on, for the first few years, it was a thing. Basically what I ran into was a couple of store managers that their annual bonus was achievable and they would achieve it. And it was a stinking lot of money. Yeah. And then they changed the dynamics. They changed the metrics to the point where it was literally unachievable. But yet you still had to fight. Corporate still wanted you to fight to get to that. But you'd never get there. You'd never even get a portion of it. So people were literally, these store managers were literally losing almost a third of their annual income because they weren't hitting that bonus structure.
Well, there's something right there. Losing a third of their annual income because they weren't hitting that bonus structure. Oh. They were banking on that.
Yes, bonus. They were. And that's something that we don't do.
They were a junkie.
Right. And they were built to be, because they were trained by the company who were the pushers. And that's, instead of being upfront and saying, okay, we're not going to offer bonuses anymore. Yeah. They just made it so you could never get the bonus ever.
Well, no, because you got a population of your management that is hooked on the idea behind the bonus. Right. You've got established junkies.
Right. But they were not going to get that bonus. Yeah. So they burned them out. I know of at least 2 store managers that quit because of that.
Yeah.
And they went and they did better things for their lives, which is more power to them.
Yeah. So they burned out good employees that were at least good at one time, that were getting top dollar for just maintaining, so they could bring in new, cheaper employees.
And they still would dangle a bonus.
And restart.
And they'd still dangle the bonus.
Well, they heard about the bonus from the old timers.
No, the bonus was still being offered, but you'd still never get to it.
It was the emotional of achieving it that was told on how wonderful it was by the old timers.
Yeah, I remember when.
It's until you got no more old timers around to sell that wonderful carrot. Yeah. Because it doesn't exist.
Yep. It hasn't existed for a decade. I always found that to be very disingenuous of corporates to do that. I thought it was a crappy move. I never really thought of it as a pusher junkie dynamic, but I guess in some ways it is. I guess it doesn't hurt that I never really had bonus options prior to this job, prior to this career. And I never chased bonus. I've never chased them.
Yeah, see, I've had it. Yeah, over half my adult life.
Well, that's because you've done production and project management, where I've done retail and not in a management level.
Even when I signed up for the Army, I got a bonus.
Exactly.
Yeah, and there are different career paths you can do and a lot of it has to deal with timing.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I got a bonus to join the Army. I signed my paperwork when I was 17. I got it was $45,000. It's gonna be $4,500. Combat infantryman. I ended up getting $3,000 after taxes.
Yeah, that's the thing about bonuses. They always eat the snot out of them with taxes. It's a higher tax rate.
It is a higher tax rate.
It's like 20% or something.
Yeah.
Like that. But if you didn't fulfill your contract, you would have had to pay back.
Yeah.
It's interesting that it was an upfront bonus.
Yeah, I got it after achieving AIT.
Mm-hmm.
And promptly put it in a bank in a money market account and let it earn.
Good for you.
Well, it wasn't me. It was the woman I was attached to at the time.
Gold star for her.
Gold star moment for her. For being that pragmatic and putting that to work.
Yeah. It was probably a good thing.
Yeah. And so that's it's like, yeah, I got a bonus, but I turned around and put it to work in a very steady manner in making money.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. When in the event we get a bonus from our insurance sales, but it's happened. It's not super. I mean, it happens. We've got one that we bonus out occasionally, just because their product sells well. We usually pour most of that back into the business or buying things that we need for us. We've never really invested it, but we've definitely put it to solid use.
Well, over a third of our gross goes back into the business immediately.
Oh yeah, easily.
Early on, it was a half.
Yeah,
it was. We put tremendous amounts of money back into the business.
That's part of being a small business.
It's part of being a small business, and it's really what has made us grow.
Oh yeah.
And that's one of the things that has set us apart from other producers, because we got other producers from our main office that have never achieved what we have.
Oh no.
And some of it has to do with the pay structure.
Yeah.
We're straight commission.
Yep.
50%.
Yeah. That's it, straight up. And we don't, we don't mess around with hourlies because it wasn't the right move for us.
Yeah. And all the other ones that have gone in have had an hourly component.
Yeah. Well, when you very, very early started, you were getting a $200 a month fuel stipend.
It was a fuel stipend because I was driving 45 minutes one way to get to the.
He was driving an hour and a half to go to work. Yeah.
But and we eat through those months of $200 paychecks.
Mm-hmm. Well, partly because I was still working full time. Yeah. But yeah, we squeaked it through.
And every sale seemed like a bonus at that point.
Yeah.
And I really don't see sales as a bonus. It's like, now it's like, okay, I got one, cool. Or I didn't get one. But it's that day in, day out of making little steps towards that goal.
Exactly. You don't lose sight of the ultimate goal, which is not the bonus. Mm-hmm. The goal is serving your client.
Serving your client and getting free.
Getting free of
someone dangling.
Of someone who's dangling a carrot. Exactly.
And then your motivation becomes yourself. And that's really a big change. And that's one of those things that we're working with our partner. And I'm really getting focused on, hey, every moment that you're here, every moment that you're communicating, is an outreach to get a new client in, and is one step getting you out of the situation you're in. And I can't stress that enough. And because last night I'm on the computer at 9 o'clock, and I see the instant message come across of someone saying, "Hey, do you do car?" And it's like, "Yes, I do." And here you can fill out this form. You can send your information to this email, and we'll get on it in the morning. Because they really expressed dissatisfaction in how they were being treated with their current situation, with their current agent. And I'm like, no, it's like, no problem. We will take care of that. First thing, I've got plenty of product blend that will take care of it. And it's from, what we did a couple months ago. Actually, it was last summer. Is we went in, we did the project of we subscribed in, and every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we get a meme basically, and to post on social media, right? To run the social media product. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And there's only been a couple I've skipped. Yeah. And the reason why I skipped them is because it doesn't really fit with what we're putting out.
Oh, okay. Doesn't fit with our demographic dynamic.
Yeah, it's really like, because, it does hit a broad audience. I still find something of similar nature that's more aligned with us.
That's good.
And make sure it's posted.
There you go. I think those are working too, by the way.
And but it's, every other day, pretty much, I've got content that's going on that inspires conversation of, around insurance, around, hey, it's funny, haha. And, 6 months later, I'm getting the starting to get regular conversations of, hey, do you do home? Hey, can you take care of this? It's from that little consistent baby step. And is one of the things I'm gonna start hounding on for my coworkers, that, hey, you need to be doing this. If we want to grow this line, everyone needs to be doing this. I can't be the only one doing it.
Okay.
And now we've got kind of proof, because it's about the third or fourth person that has come to me out of the blue on my friends list that have done just that.
Okay.
And it's not the, hey, excited post, oh, hey, I made this awesome sale. It's the, hey, this is a messed up situation. We can fix it.
Yeah. I hit a fish.
You hit a fish? Yeah, I hit a fish post. Mine is, the ones I enjoy the most are the so much money you can save. It shows. Because there's like bags out there that look literally like trash bags, or the Gucci trash cans,
the Balenciaga trash bags.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my gosh, those are horrible. Yeah. Why would anyone spend money on it?
Because it's got the name Balenciaga on it.
But it takes those steps along the way, and it's little tiny steps. And it's really crazy, because you really don't know on how far you come until you start looking back. And I've been trying to catch up with some of the media stuff. And our websites is a good example. Yeah. I had to go back, and it's like, oh, I have to add this. I have to add this site. I had to add this site. I had to add this site. And looking back, it's like, oh, crap, we've done a lot. Okay, we still got a long ways to go. But it's the only way that we got there is from these little tiny steps. And
you could translate that little tiny steps into building away from your pusher and into your own product.
Yeah, and it's really important if you want to change your life.
So are we going to be Walter White?
I'll be the one who knocks. I'm consistently the bad guy.
Yeah.
And most people don't understand when you get into these good guy, bad guy concepts. That every office I've ever been, I've been the bad guy.
Why is that, do you suppose?
Well, even when I was in high school in my group of friends, I was the hitman.
You're the enforcer.
I was the enforcer. I was the you know.
Is it? It you know what it is? It's your unflappability. People can't intimidate you.
It could be.
Yeah, people know that coming into a group, everyone else might step back a little bit, but you won't. So I guess that might be where you landed in that role.
Well, I remember distinctly we were me and my buddy Colin were driving around high school because, well, gas was cheap. And when you're bored, that's what you do.
Oh, yeah.
And we got Slurpees.
Because, Slurpees.
Because Slurpees are delicious.
Yes. And nutritious.
No, I wouldn't go nutritious. And we were driving around, and he was complaining about how his Slurpee tastes. I did hey, Colin, let me see that. And he handed me the Slurpee. And of course, it's summertime and the windows are out and it's hot. And we're drinking Slurpees. So yeah, I chucked that sucker out the window.
Litter bug.
Yeah.
You would have made Iron Eyes Cody cry.
Yeah. And he looked at me in shock over me chucking his Slurpee out. And I was like, you didn't want it.
If you wanted it, well, you wouldn't have been complaining about it.
And he didn't. He stopped complaining after that.
Maybe he just stopped complaining to you.
Well, that's fine because it got the job done.
Oh, jeez.
Well, when you're out enjoying yourself and your mission is to enjoy yourself, it's not to whine about it. And that's the little, I had to shock his little world.
You were such a teenager.
Yeah, and that was me when I was 16, 17.
Yeah, well, your shock tools have matured a lot, but you still. The fact is, you're just not intimidatable, and people don't look at you as the muscle. I mean, and you're not. You're a big guy.
I'm gray. I'm old. I'm fat. I'm out of shape.
You're a big guy.
Yeah,
and you still have this. Don't screw around with me attitude. Which is kind of handy when it's on your side.
Yeah, it's kind of handy when it's on your side. And so, look, the moment you realize that no one's going to come from your future to say, hey, you need to make a change.
Yeah.
Once you realize that, it's you stop buying the lottery tickets. You stop chasing the bonus. And you say, okay, how do I get my goals? And it's okay, it's little tiny steps. And you make them consistently. Yeah. And I can't stress that. Because if you're not making them consistently, you're sinking into the quicksand of that desperation.
Yeah, and no one wants it. And desperation is not a place where most people are happy.
Well, it's one that it takes your thoughts away. It takes your goals and dreams away because you're in survival mode. And the longer you're in it, the tougher it is to get out.
Survival mode creates PTSD. And then you end up, it comes, even if you're out of survival mode, it can still come back and smack you in the head. Yeah. It happens.
So don't look at bonuses as money. Look at it as time with your family.
There you
go. And that's really important. Look at it as enrichment. What skills are you learning? If you're at a boss that says, hey, I need you to work such and such hours and does not stress that you are improving your life and says, oh, hey, I'll pay you extra if you stay over, or, hey, you got a big paycheck.
That's not enough.
It's not. And that's what leads to that bonus desperation, that last big score so you can get out.
Yeah.
That, oh, hey, you're trading your soul couple silver coins, and it just isn't worth it.
We've had that conversation in other variants. So that sounds like you're winding up.
Yep, it is about time to wind up. We've done the half hour, so hey.
Have a great week.
Have a great week.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Well, yeah, because it'll be after. And so, yeah, make your tiny steps.
Yes.
Tiny steps.
Okay, bye.
Bye.